Welcome to another video in my home automation series, and today I'm going to review another development board, and this is from M5 Stack and it is called the M5Go. And interesting that I got this offer because I made a development board review recently. I don't want to do a comparison, but I think previously we have seen like I would say entry-level development board, and now this is a much more advanced. I would probably say like 3 times the price, but probably also 3 times the capability, if not more, because here, as you can see from the package, you are getting a core unit which has a screen as well, and then it can interface with various modules, just like as you would expect with any development board. And the added bonus is that it has the physical layout that it can, connect to LEGO pieces, LEGO Technic pieces. When I got this offer, again, I looked at the different ways you can operate, or the different ways you can program this development board. And actually, I find out that there is also a Flow or a Scratch type programming language available for this one. So I think this would be, again, a good development board for somebody who is not really, just starting development or, programming. And again, I was thinking that maybe my son would be interested in that. So I'm going to review this product. I'm going to go through the, what you get in this package. We are also going to go through the website to see the different versions that are available, because there are a lot of modules or core modules are available from the M5 stack. So you can really choose what you need, and then, how much you want to spend on it. And I think I'm just going to go through a quick project also using this Flow development language, and probably I can follow up with some more interesting projects in the future. So I think before I go and unbox it, maybe I can just quickly show you the web page. So if you haven't seen M5 Stack, I mean, I've seen M5 Stack a lot of different places. It's been used by many different makers, and to be honest, I probably have seen more the sort of the standalone ESP modules, and not so much these stack pieces. I think it's called, well, I'm not really sure what the M5 stack stands for, but these modules are 5 times 5 centimeters. So that's just like, 2 times 2 inches, roughly. And yeah, it contains an ESP32 microcontroller, and this particular model is actually clocked to 240 megahertz. So again, it is quite a beefy processor to do some basic programming and IoT stuff. And then it also contains a lot of different modules. I mean, there are a lot of things inside of it, but then you can connect it with different modules. I mean, you are not going to get these modules in the pack, but this is just showed as an example. And then, of course, you can connect modules using cables, as you would expect. And then, several different modules are available. And yeah, and of course, they are, pitching this for a lot of different uses. But I mean, I'm mostly going to go for like, development projects, maybe some projects for the kids or some games, and maybe also some IoT stuff, because I think because it's an ESP32 and then it has Wi-Fi, we would be able to use it for, general IoT stuff. Just you can see here, maybe you can use the small screen and you can use it as a thermostat. And if you go into the store, you can see that, yeah, there are different modules and sensors and then kits available. But when you look at the controllers, so these are the, the various controllers that you can have. Okay, let me just scroll down. So, okay, there is an M5 paper, which has an e-ink paper. You have these modules which don't have a screen, so it just has like, USB connectivity and the ESP32, and of course a lot of different ports. And what I got is this M5Go IoT Starter Kit. So that contains all the different bits and pieces. But again, for example, if you want a project where you just need a core module, you don't need the sensors, then you can go just the the core IoT development module, which is just a screen and a couple of things which is already contained in the screen. So yeah, you can just head over to this site and look at the different offerings. So if I go to the starter kit, let me just scroll up. So this is what you get. You get, and we are going to see it in the when I unbox it. So there's going to be an RGB module, an infrared module, an environment sensor module, a PIR module, and a hub, which basically just splits the I2C and the pot, and yeah, and the core module. And I was thinking that maybe I'm going to play with my son and do some games. So I asked them to also send me this joystick module, which is like a 2-axis analog joystick, which is not in this starter package. And then you can see the the details. It has various ports and USB Type-C to charge, and the magnets on the bottom. And as I said, these these Lego piece connectors. It has a battery inside, so it can operate as a battery operated device. And yeah, some LEDs on the side. So and if you open up, of course, you have some additional headers, so you can connect the GPIOs, and yeah, and there is also a magnetic charger and data lead, and yeah, you have the various Lego pieces. So yeah, and if I go through the listing, I mean, you get some videos how you can use it, and then when you want to program it. As I said, it uses an ESP32. I think I said 8 megabytes. No, actually it's 16 megabytes flash, which I think is going to become important later on, because as we will see, you will be able to store multiple programs on this device, which I think it's also a really neat feature. And then going back to the programming, you can use a UIFlow programming language. And then it also has a MicroPython environment, but you can also use Arduino or a .NET Nano frameworks, sorry, Arduino IDE. And I think I'm just going to focus on the UIFlow, because I just like how easy it gets with the Scratch language. Of course, if you want to do some simple stuff, I think it's really easy to get started with. Maybe if you want something more complicated, then I don't know, maybe Arduino or MicroPython would be the way to go. But out of all the different languages that I speak, I actually don't know Python, so I'm not going to use that. And then it talks about the various modules and different drivers. And actually, if you head up, you can see the specs here. And if you head over to the documents section, then you can see that this UIFlow has a web ID. So basically just a web page that actually I think I should load. And then it also has various drivers for the USB chip, which I mean I already have installed, so I didn't want to use it. And then there are some documentation here as well. So again, if you want some tutorials, you really want to start from the beginning and then understand the hardware side, there is a really good, fairly long document here. Yeah, 60 pages, which is going to take you through. Let me just quickly go through this, because this is really a big document. So you can just go through like, okay, how it is built, what are the various features, and then the ports, and then how you connect the various modules, and yeah, how you set up the development environment, and then how you start programming. And then in the later section, it actually goes through a few different projects that you can do, how you use the screen, and then how you create UI elements, and then of course it goes through some other projects. So I don't know, yeah, how you design, I think, yeah, generate sound, because it also has a speaker. But then I think there is a project here, how to create a burglar alarm. Yeah. And then a couple of other projects here. So I think, again, from the documentation standpoint, it looks, fairly complete. Let me do a little bit of unboxing. So as I said, maybe I can start with a small one. So this is just a joystick module, and I wanted to, I don't know, play around with. So as you can see, it's like a 2-axis joystick. It also has these Lego stud holes, and it actually communicates on I2C, and then you get a small I2C lead. So you can connect multiple modules like this to the core module. And that's basically the core module, which comes in a really nice box. I quite like it. Actually, this paper was also in the box. I can just show you. It really gives you just a very quick overview of the different things that are contained inside, and the various M5 cores. So you can have the basic, the Fire, or the M5Go, depending on what you need in your project. So if you don't need all the different bits that are in the M5Go, but you are happy with the M5 Basic, then you can basically just have a cheaper core option and save some money on your next project. So the M5Go comes like this. So obviously we have the core unit, which looks like this. So you have the connectors, USB power, a couple of other ports. So this is I2C port. This is general purpose I/O, and I think this is port C is the UART, and SD card, and there's nothing here, again LED, and then a couple of connectors, some LEGO pieces, also like a screw mount, and this also, there are some magnets inside, so that just sticks on metal surfaces, and of course, yeah, a screen, and then 3 buttons. So I think it's quite a lot. You are getting a special lead which connects to this connector here, so you can just have it on a, let's say, on a stand, and that is going to connect like this. I think that's quite a nice lead. And of course you have the USB-C here, and you have another small USB-C, a couple of these general 4-pin, is it 4-pin? Yes, so 4-pin leads. And then you have these modules. So it's basically a pot, that's a PIR sensor, a splitter for the I2C, infrared, this is environment sensor, so temperature, humidity, and pressure, and this is just some LEDs, so RGB LEDs. And yeah, these are the modules that you get with this, and of course you can purchase other modules if you need to. And you are also provided with a few LEGO pieces, so you are getting these LEGO Technic studs, and also you're getting a few LEGO Technic pieces. So I think it would make it interesting to just link the various modules together with the core, so it becomes more like a sort of complete project. Before you ask, so this is designed to work with the M5 stack modules. It doesn't have any connectors that would connect to any LEGO, let's say, power functions. So it is LEGO, so you can just maybe build something with LEGO that this can control, but it will not work with the LEGO power functions or the LEGO, what is it, the EV, I think it's their own robotics solution. So yeah, you can just use the LEGO for the generic building blocks. Let me take the core unit out of the case, and actually I can show you how it works. So you have this button, and if you click it once, then it's going to wake up. Basically, if you click it twice, then it's going to go to sleep mode. And then when you open it up, then it's going to show you a splash screen for a short period of time. Then it's going to start an application, and it's going to start the application that I used for the last time. So if I reset again, and if I select apps, you can see that, as I said, it contains a small framework, and this framework can save all your Python programs that you have created, and you can just run them from here. So for example, I created this Simple Joy app, which I don't think it's going to run, because maybe it is expecting that the joystick is connected. Maybe not. So let me do this. I'm not sure if it's good that I connect it when the unit is on, but let's give it a go. Maybe that's going to work. I mean, I was just trying to some really simple stuff. Yeah, you can see that I can move the, let me just get this into view. So I move this icon using the joystick, and I also display the values on the screen. So I created this very simple program in the UIFlow in just in a few minutes. And yeah, if I reset it again, then if I I select this M5Go app, then this is the default app which is going to load when you open this device. So that's going to show you that, okay, hello, this is the device, how you use the different buttons, how you go to sleep, and then it has a speaker. And then it also has a microphone, so you can see that it is, yeah, okay, so maybe you can see it now. that it detects the microphone, or sorry, audio signal, and it has a built-in gyroscope and gyro, so you can use that as well. And it has LEDs. So there is one LED on each side that you can control separately, so RGB LED, and then the couple of ports. So this is I2C, general, GPIO, and the UART. And yeah, you can connect sensors and environment sensor, let's say the motion sensor. The RGB goes to the UART, it looks like. And yeah, you can create various things. So maybe this is going to be a short demo for the infrared remote, the angle sensor, if I would connect it to it, and then we go back to the speaker. So that just gives you a general overview of the things. And there are a couple of apps here, and I mean, some of these apps require you to connect one of the hardwares, but then there is this app which is just going to draw triangles on the screen. So that helps you to figure out the graphics capabilities of the screen. So let me hook this device to the micro USB port now. And I don't think it's actually necessary for the programming, but let me do this, and I'm just going to split my screen. And so I'm going to show you this M5 stack UIFlow programming. So you can just access this by going to flow.m5stack.com. You can actually create an account as well. So I have my own account. And in order to start working, you have to reset the device again, and then press this middle button, which is going to give you this screen where it shows you what is your SSID, and then it's going to show you an API key. And then here on the screen, you can enter this API key. And then once you enter, then you can see that it is connected. And as I said, it doesn't have to be on the network, because when you are in the screen, it is actually connected to the Wi-Fi, so it goes up to the same well, it goes up to the cloud, so you can access the program from here. So I can just rename this as a first app, and maybe we can start doing something. I think I can use this gyro, sorry, not this gyro, this joystick, and just show you something. So first of all, I'm probably just going to mix a lot of different things. So I have screens and sounds and inputs and that sort of stuff. So here on the left, you have a couple of options with using various screen elements. So if I want to add a title, then I can do this. So that's my first application. And if I just want to, let's say, display the position of this sensor, then I can have two texts. It even shows me alignment. So this is going to be X position, and this is going to be Y position. Okay, so this is 30 at 40, and this one is 81 and 40. Okay. For me, it appears that they are not on the same. That the other one is a little bit up. Anyway, we'll see. That's the, let's say, the very basic screen control done. And then we can have, we need to configure the units that we are using. So these are all the different things that are, that we are going to connect to it. So maybe I'm going to use the joystick, and I'm going to add the joystick. I realized, no, I didn't want to add this one, so just the joystick. And just like in an Arduino program, we have a setup section and then later on we are going to have a loop section. And you can see that in the event you have setup, and while setup is always on the screen, you have the loop section. We're definitely going to use this later on. And also you can have events when the button is pressed, or when some events are created. So you can create your own timers. This is quite nice, actually. I quite like that. And you can refer to some UI stuff, and also you can use the built-in hardware elements which are not connected like this unit, but built into the core. So maybe what we can do is, when the the unit or the program starts, we can have a I don't know, maybe we can have a tone that gets played, and then we go into the loop, and we can just show the values of these joystick. So, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm also going to create some variables. So I'm just going to create X and Y variables. So first of all, I'm going to read the values into the X and Y variables. So I have the joystick unit connected, and I want to get the joystick position, but actually I want to put it into variables. So set X to the get joystick X, and you also get some hints here. That's quite nice. I quite like that. And then you can set Y to joystick Y, and then let's print it on the screen. So we can go to UI and then label. So we have a title, we have a label, and we have the screen. And if you put anything else, like an image or a rectangle, then you have some other options here. So let's do label. So the label, so we have two labels, X pos and Y, X position and Y position. And then we are going to put in the value, where are my variables? Yeah, X. So X goes to X, and let me just duplicate it, and Y goes to Y position. And now if I run this one, it says connect, and you probably could hear the beep. And if let me just change the screen, then you can see that the values are changing depending on how I move the joystick around. So as I said, this is how easy it is to get something done. And what we can also do is, let's say we do something when this joystick gets pushed. So I created from the loops, I created something and if the joystick 0 is pressed, then maybe what we can do is we can use the built-in modules, and sorry, not the modules. No, sorry, in the hardware. So I wanted to use the RGB, and then let's say set the color to red, and then maybe we can play a note. Let's say a high A for a quarter beat, and then we can set the color back to black. We just turn off the LED. So let's run it. It's connecting. It's uploading the new version of the code, and then the joystick still works. And if I press the button, then we get the LED on both sides. So I mean, as I said, it literally only takes a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes to do something like this. I mean, of course, you just have to explore what you need to, where you are going to find something. But I think the way this, this is laid out is actually quite nice. So you have UI, everything that you have put in here, and then you have the hardware, everything which is in the core unit. So you can see all the SD cards, you have power, so you can just, for example, check what is the battery percentage, whether the battery is charging. You have the built-in IMU, so the accelerometer. We already talked about the RGB. You also have some watchdog timer, SD card, so you can just read files. You have some, you can toggle the pins. You have also pins here. You can do PWM, ADC, DAC, and of course, I mean, these are all the built-in capabilities of the ESP32, and then UART, I2C, and then network. So if you want your project to use Wi-Fi, because by default now I think the Wi-Fi is connected because it is connecting to the M5 stack. But if you want to build a Wi-Fi application, you can use it to connect it to maybe like a different Wi-Fi or create an access point. And you can also store data in the app ROM, and yeah, you can reset the system. And then the external units that you have defined. And then you have also a lot of different modules here. So, you know, if you want to use, as you can see, PM2.5 sensors, DC motors, servos, LoRa, you have a lot of stuff here. A couple of IoT cloud stuff, so Azure, AWS, Blink, if you want to do. And yeah. And then finally, you have some of the development or the programming capabilities. So creating variables, various mathematical functions, the various loops, logics, you know, if then switch cases. I think you have quite a lot of different options here, more that we have seen previously. You have the various graphics options, so if you want to just clear the screen or fill the screen, or just draw graphical elements like pixels and lines and rectangles, you can do it here. There is a separate option how you can create emojis, basic delays, and then do, you know, function calls and use anything text manipulation, and then lists and mapping functions. And oh yeah, it also handles JSON, which is nice. And then you have still a lot of stuff in execute. I think what I'm probably going to focus on in the future is MQTT, and you can use other communication method, for example, HTTP request or socket communication, and also you can use this for Modbus slave and master, and because ESP32 has CAN, you can also use for CAN and, you know, NTP, and so loads of different things in here, you know, and just by playing around with the different hardware, I think you have a lot of different capabilities and options what you can do with these units. And finally, what I wanted to just finish on this development environment is you have this application now, and as I said, when you click on run, it uploads the program and it runs it on the unit. And by the way, if you want to reset it, you just press the reset button. And then because I haven't downloaded this application to the ESP32, now it's not going to load that application. But what I can do now is I can just click on download, and now it's downloading this application to the my M5 stack. It says uploading, and then it says reset. And if I press app, then let me just change the view. So now you can see that within the applications, I have my first app. So this wasn't there before, and now I can use it. And my first app is here, and I can use it. So I think this is, I quite like this whole environment, this, let's say, framework, because it makes it really easy to just work on different applications and then maybe use your M5 stack for various different jobs. And you have your codes that are stored on the device, and maybe you just need to, you know, switch out the peripherals, and then you can use it for one application and you can switch it to another application, but you can always go back. And as I said, 60 megabytes is quite a lot, so I think that would be able to hold even, you know, quite a few decent size applications as well. And I've just realized that I had the screen overlay on the wrong position. So here you have the run and the download buttons. So the run button just loads it on the M5 stack, and it will be running and available as until you reset it. But if you use the download button, then it's going to download it and it's going to appear in your apps. And the other thing I also wanted to show you is that you always have the option to use the open and the save buttons. So in here, even though you created your account, your programs are not going to be stored on the cloud. So you just have to remember that once you have done development, you can, well, of course, you can upload the application or download the application to the M5 stack, or you can just download the M5F file itself, and you can just always load this. So if I've done this, let me just close, and I say, okay, I want a new project, and okay, I've already saved it, and I can just load this application. So, and it's going to reload it. So just keep in mind to save your files, and maybe that's the way you can back it up, the things that let's say that are no longer available on your device. So I think this concludes my M5 Stack Go review in a nutshell. I think you will be seeing this unit in the future. I will be playing around with this. Maybe I will cover a couple of IoT scenarios that I can do myself, and maybe once I have some time to play around with my son, maybe I can do some games or something that he's also interested in. But if you're interested in this product, the purchasing links are going to be in the video description. But I think that would be all for today. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.